So this little exercise passed on from the grandmaster to the master to yours truly. It's called dip into alpha waves. And we tend to let go of everything and just soften the body as we do these knee bends. And the alpha wave is a calming, almost meditational state. If it's pure alpha waves, I guess it is meditational or sleep, or you can even get into theta waves, which is more deep sleep, doing this exercise. And so it has the effect of having a meditation. So it's calming, it's focusing, and I hope it's that everyone can do it without feeling sore or, you know, and so maybe if you feel sore too quick, you could stop and try and build it up, because it's a very worthwhile exercise. Build up your strength. For example, there's a master, this is the mala, which is the prayer bead. I don't do enough prayer, but the point is, what I'm trying to say is we bless the beads every day, and we hold it up above our head and say many mantras and visualizations, one visualization, and you have to hold it up here. Now, if you look here, it's quite an awkward position, you know? Here, wow, Emily is so flexible. Here, my shoulders, I found that very hard to get it far back and my elbows back, right? And it used to hurt me. But because I do it every day, it doesn't hurt anymore. My flexibility, just by doing that every morning for 5 minutes, saying the mantra, straight as you, well, as you get dressed. It's just practice. It has stretched my sinews here and opened the joint, and you know, and it's not really Qigong. What I'm saying is, through repetitive practice, you'll be amazed at how your body can change. All right? And now, let's get on to the business and work on dip into alpha waves. When we do any Qigong, generally, you want to have a good standing posture. If you're sick or sore, you can do Qigong sitting. You could do it even lying down. Okay? You could consider a breathing exercise, even in a bad posture, practicing your Qigong. So we start with posture. The feet are roughly the width of your hips, hip joint, I should say, and the feet are parallel. Importantly, the knees are straight over the legs. They're in a line from the feet to the hip joint, hence, you know, where you put your feet. It's not exact science, and you can make it comfortable, okay? And if the knees have a habit of knocking, it might take a while to get used to straightening them. Eventually, you do want to aim at straightening your knees, right? And here the hip, the bum, is dropped, and the tailbone and the whole hip is slightly, I'm exaggerating, slightly pivoted towards the knee, right? So the knee is bent as you drop your bum. And you can maybe see, if I put my arm out of the way, you see that back arch here, about here, right? Never mind my hand, it's just, right? There's a slight arch in the back, right? Maybe you can see that, but take it from me. We are not hollowing our back, right? We are arching the back ever so slightly. I exaggerate my movements during the lesson, as you know. So you have an idea of which direction it goes in. The shoulders are ever so slightly pushing out to the sides, but also slightly back. So that's just to open up the lung capacity, right? Slightly back, slightly even up. After a while, you get to notice that too. The ribs are expanding, opening. The armpits feel like they're opening because I automatically already go into this kind of roundy shape that so many of the masters, teachers have shown me. And hands are also roundy like that, open with the fingers. We'll have a hand posture in this movement, and that will be more facing back. Right? I'm just showing you general standing posture. The crown is as if it's lifted up by a hair up to the heavens, or silken strand. And the body should be relaxed, your face relaxed, no tension or grimacing, you know, with the forehead, the jaw. And the more we practice that, the more it starts to relax, right? Other teachers advocate an inner smile being that others advocate a smile, you know, in your face. And that's just making you feel positive. If you walk in a room and you're all grimacing and frowning, the atmosphere around you will probably be a little more like that. If you walk into a room and you're smiling, like our dog is always smiling and happy, and it makes you feel happy to see a person like that. You know, so people around you will be a little more smiley. Even if they don't smile, they will be a little more happy or positive. Right? Our dog makes everybody nice and friendly. He's the nicest person in the family. And everyone loves that, you know? No one gets angry at the dog when he eats your precious belongings, you know? But if I were to break something of my kids or something, I'd hear all about it. So that's why they advocate the smile. It creates positivity around us as well. And in turn, that bounces back to you, right? Now, where was I? Body's relaxed. You aim to relax the muscles. So now this is the movement, right? When you're doing this movement, you try to feel that you're not tensing somewhere, right? You try and feel that where there is tension, you might feel that tension, or you might look for it. Where there, or you know, if you don't, well, then you have to see if everything is loose. Where there is tension, you try and loosen. Okay, so when we have loose muscles, the blood will flow freely, taking away toxins, bringing in oxygen. Now, we want the blood that's flowing freely to be fully oxygenated. We do that through proper breathing. Next screen. I won't go deeply into the breathing, but what's important is that we draw the air down through the whole lungs including the lower lungs, which are often forgotten. When we tense up, participants, mute. Oh, okay. Now you can talk because you won't be on the recording. So that full breath will fully oxygenate the blood. A half a breath each time you breathe, let's say, will half or maybe 3/4, whatever it is in the balance, it'll oxygenate your blood less. So we try and breathe well all the time. That's a big part of Qigong. And we do that through sucking the air down to our tummy, expanding. It might feel yucky if you're not used to it, and contracting as you breathe out. So expanding down here, that will bring the air down. Contracting as you breathe out, that will bring the stale air, it's called, from the lower lungs out. So if we get rid of the stale air every time, that means that there will only be fresh air coming in. So I'll let that rest with you now. Get rid of the stale air every time by hitting the lowest part of your lungs or seated in your abdomen. All right? Because they're touching on the lowest part of the lungs. And of course, getting rid of the stale air every time will mean that you're getting fresh air in. Of course, ventilate well, okay? I did about 5 weddings since Christmas and up to New Year. And some of those places weren't ventilated. And all the people in there, and I started getting a sore throat from all the blowing in the saxophone, singing, breathing in all that stale air. And no matter how I got rid of the stale air, I'd still be breathing in air that wasn't circulated. So that's why I got a sore throat, which is gone now. So ventilate, breathe well, good posture. So we'll just keep going until the end now with alpha waves. Basically, my shoulders relaxed. You see that? I'll maximize the light on my, no, okay. I can't see properly, so I'm just gonna take this off one arm at a time. I'm loose. I'm exaggerating the looseness of it. All right, so it's 2 arms like this. I'm a little bit pushing away some air here. Right? At the same time, you may start a bit with, like I'm raising my shoulders just to get the looseness in there, okay? And the back and forth of the shoulders to get a bit of looseness in there to begin with. There's also this. Every 5 times I go double dip. On one swing, I go boom, boom. Right? Try not to move your head like I just did by mistake. Okay, so 1 and then 2 without, 3 without, 5, and then 1 again, double dip. So it's down until your hands are behind and up and down and up as your hands come up again. And this propels your arms into this swing because we do not lift the arms. Sounds weird because they're coming up. We're using that double dip and then just the pendulum motion. You know, like those office games with all the little balls click-clacking against each other for quite a while. There's no power moving them. It's just pendulum movement. That's why we have to be completely relaxed. Double dip. Okay, so we will do this now for the next 4 minutes. Double dip. Breathe in through your nose. You can breathe out through your nose or out through your mouth. Even if you have a problem with the nose in breathing, just it doesn't matter. Okay, just your mouth will get very dry if you breathe in through your mouth. One, two, three, four. And double dip on the one. Rest your posture still correct with the bum, the tailbone slightly pointing towards the knee. Don't lock your knees. They're slightly bent. Crown is still elevated. And you're doing nice breathing into the lower belly. Again, too much thinking, too much breath work could maybe stop you from doing this relaxing movement. Okay? And indeed, my teacher didn't mention the breath work so much. Often he just says breathe naturally. But I think it's easier for someone to breathe nicely and naturally if you practice a lot. So for the beginner especially, you know, just keep on feeling that your tummy is working. Don't overdo the movement, okay? My arms might be going quite high, but that's because I've been practicing, okay? If they just move a little bit, it's fine. Now, the alpha waves, yes, it takes a while. There should be 300 repeats daily for practicing this. You can go further. Okay, so you can go count each single one, or you can count every 5, or it's kind of easier to count a 5 on one hand with a double dip on the pinky, 5 in the other, maybe the double dips on the thumb here. That depends on how you want to count on your fingers. Okay, that's 1, in other words. So then I hold the 1 in my pinky, and then I do another 10, and then I hold the 10 in my, what's that, ring finger, then in the middle finger. That's 30 then, those 3, you see? Well, yeah. So you could do 100 just counting them on your hands and fingers. And then you have to do that 3 times. So just start with 100, you know. And that's it. You see, the rest is time and practice. Okay. And everybody good? How do you feel about the exercise? Unmute yourself before the thing comes off. We might stop abruptly any minute unless you unmute yourself. Hey.
It's great. It makes you feel really tingly.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it makes me feel quite relaxed. And
yeah, and your fingers tingle.
Yeah, and it does actually make the chi flow through your whole body. Yeah, good point. As we relax and move, all the muscles, they're vibrating. Okay, it's a different rhythm than